Good morning, students. Today we are going to start with the chapter 4, Introduction to Hypertext Preprocessor. So hypertext preprocessor is nothing but the PHP. So in this video we will start with the introduction of PHP. So while starting a business, simultaneously we need to get updated in the internet and the web-based application to grow our business. So while starting business, we have to simultaneously get updated with the internet and the web-based application to grow our business. So like that scenario came into existence. So to the legacy programming languages, so they doesn't meet the expectation of the web-based platforms. So they have created a new set of programming languages called web scripting language. Web scripting language. So in that way, the PHP comes into the role. PHP comes into the role like it is a server-side scripting language. It is the server-side scripting language. So there are various types of scripting languages are available. Even though like ASP.NET, Java, Python, JavaScript and CodeFusion, like that, there are various types of web server scripting language has been developed. Even though there are so many languages has been developed, so PHP plays the major role. PHP plays the major role. It is mostly used for developing the web-based application. In the next class, we will start with the client-server architecture. Thank you. Good morning, students. Today, we are going to see the next topic, client-server architecture. So client server, what is the client and what is the server? So let us discuss about the definition of the server and client first. So what is the server? Server is nothing but it is a high performance hardware machine, hardware system. So which can run more than one application simultaneously or concurrently. So that is the server. So what about the client? So client is a separate system, separate hardware machine which is connected to the server through the network. Either it may be an intranet or the intranet. So this is how the client server process works. So the client request from the server. Client always send a request to the server. The request will be processed by the server and the response will be sent back to the client. So the client is called as service requester and the server is called as service provider. So this is the introduction about the client server architecture. So there are the three types of architecture here we are going to discuss. So the first one is single tier architecture. It's nothing but both the server and client acts in a single machine. There will be no any intermediate layers. Next one is the two-tier architecture. Here there will be an intermediate layer between the client and the server. The client is separate and the server is separate. You have two tiers. So that is the two-tier architecture. And the last one is the multi-tier architecture. Here multi-tier in the sense you will be having the client. Here you will be having the server. In between the business logic, that is the application layer. will be there. So the client will send the request through the application layer to the server. Any business logics will occur in between the client and the server. This is about the types of architecture. So in the next we will see about the server side scripting language. So the next one is the server side scripting language. So the scripting language can be divided into two, client side and the server side. So PHP is totally different from the client side. So it always works with the web server, and the web server gets a request from the client as a HTML request and send back the response. The client is able to view only the HTML content in the using the web browser in his either in his laptop or the PC. So this is about the basic introduction about the server side scripting language. So in the next video we will see the web development concept. Thank you. Good morning students. Today we are going to see the next topic, web development concept. So what are all the things will happen in the web development? So the website development activities and hosting activities through the network, whether it is through internet or intranet, like this, all these web related activities will be held in the web development concept. So let us see how the PHP script works. So the PHP will be embedded in the HTML. So the client will open the browser. The client will open the browser and send the request. Type the required thing in the browser, and the request will pass on to the server. The server will compile the PHP program. Will compile and interpret the PHP program. So PHP program will be compiled by accessing from the database what all the data required. So all these things will happen here, and the server will automatically, after completing the compilation and the process in the PHP, automatically the server will send the response to the browser. So this is how the PHP script works at the back end. So next you will see what all the syntax, basic syntax in PHP. So the next one is the PHP syntax. So there are three types of syntax here. First one is the default syntax. Default syntax is nothing but the code must start with the tag and question mark with the PHP, and the code will be here, and at the end the question mark and the closing tag. So this is one of the method we can use as a default syntax. And another one is the short open tag. Both are similar. The only thing is the word PHP will not be there. So similarly, the tag will open the question mark and the content will be there. The echo statement is used to print the output. So it is used to print the output in the web browser. So and the string to be printed to be given in the double quotes, and this is the end of statement. That is the semicolon is the end of statement. Again, this question mark and the closing tag. So this we have to change in the php.ini files by the administrator. So to use this short open tag. And the next one is HTML script embed tags. How to embed the PHP program into the HTML file. How to we can inbuild the PHP program into the HTML file. And the next one is the HTML script embed tags. So in this, how we will able to inbuild or embed the PHP program inside the HTML file. What are the codes to be written? So script open tag script language is equal to PHP. So this we have studied in the class 11 while learning the chapter 13 CSS, working with CSS. So you will be writing script language is equal to text or CSS like that, or even text or JavaScript. the same line we have studied in the class 11. Similar to that. Only thing we have to define the language as PHP and the printing statement and the close script. So this is how we will embed the PHP code in the HTML tag. So how to embed PHP in HTML? So we have to write the code as it is. We have to embed the script code in the HTML. While saving, we have to save the file as .php. .php. The browser will get only the HTML information, that HTML code, the output of the HTML code, not the PHP code will not be reflected in the browser. PHP code will be only reflecting in the server side, that is the back end. So all the working process in the PHP will be done in the back end. So only the client will be able to see, the user will be able to see only the reflection of the HTML design, not the working process of the PHP in the HTML file. So this is about the PHP syntax. With this we conclude the topic web development concept. So in this next video, we'll go with the PHP data types. Thank you. Good morning, students. Today we are going to see the next topic, PHP data types. So data type is nothing but which conveys the information about the type of the data to the compiler. Based on that, the compiler can allocate the memory spaces for the particular variable. So based on the data type, the compiler will allocate memory spaces for the variable. So in PHP, there are totally 30 primary data types, that is primitive data types are used. So some of the main data types are here. We will discuss some of the main data types. So the first one is string data type. String is a combination of characters which is given within the double quotes. So that is called as a string. So for example, here we see we have opened the PHP and the variable x will have the string within the double quotes. So echo is used to print the value of the variable. So next one is the integer data type. Integer data type is nothing but it holds a non-decimal numbers. So see here x holds the value 10, which is a non-decimal number. Again we are printing the value of x. Next one is the float. Float is decimal numbers, which holds the decimal numbers. See here x is equal to 10.5. So in PHP we no need to specify the data type, so that it automatically understood that this data type belongs to float. So that is a major advantage in the PHP. So next one is the boolean, which holds either true or false. It holds only two states, that is true or false. Either x is equal to true or false. We can print the value. Next one is the array. Array is nothing but the multiple values in a single variable. It contains multiple homogeneous values, same type of values in a single variable. So that is called as array. So here you see x is equal to array of every element is given within the double quotes, and I am using var dump to print the x. So before that we use echo to print the x. Here we use var dump. So it means it dumps the value information of the data into the variable. It dumps the information of the data or information about the value into the variable. So the output will be it replies with the function what type of data is, what are the value of that data will be displayed in the output in detail. It displays the type of the variable and the value of the variable. So in the next we will see the remaining data types. So the next is object data type. So object data type is nothing but it gives information about data and the function inside the class. So here we have created the class name called school and the function name called mark. So this is a class and it is a function. Function will have a double bracket, the open bracket and the close bracket. So inside this we are creating a variable. So with the specification of this keyword. This keyword is used to identify the current object. Use the properties of the current object. Use the properties of the current object of the specified class. So here we have created the object. Object is equal to new the class name. New the class name. And we are going to print the object with this variable, value of the variable. So this is the object data type. So it returns the data and function inside the class. So next one is the null data type. Null data type is a single value data type. It holds only one value called null. So here you see the variable x first initially has the string computer application and we assign the value null. So when you print the output, automatically it will replace it is a null variable. So and next one is last one is the resources. So the next one is the resources data type. So it has a reference to an external resources. The variable will have a reference to the external resources. So it moves from the variable will hold a link. It will hold a link which travel from the file to the another external resources, another external file. So it holds a specific file handlers to handle files and database connection. So this is the example. See, handle is a variable. Here fopen is a file handler. To open a file, that is the file name. If this is R, it means readable format, read only format. Say for example, if W means it is a write only format. RW means it is both readable and the writable format. So next one is link. This is the MySQL Connect is the link to connect the database. It is a syntax to connect the database, MySQL Connect and the host name and the database and the root name and the user name. So this is a default setting. So we gave the local host and the root. So it automatically connects to the database and it opens the file node.txt in the readable format. So this is the main purpose of the resources data type. It is a specific data type in the PHP. So with this we have completed the PHP data type. So in the next class we will see the next topic. Thank you. Good morning students. Today we are going to see the last topic of chapter 4, operators in PHP. So what is the operator? Operator is a symbol which performs mathematical and logical operations of a one or more variable or one or more operand. So that is the definition for operators. So these are the various types of operators used in the PHP. So the first one is the arithmetic operator. It is well known that addition, subtraction, multiplication, division and modulus. So division will return the quotient of the result, quotient of the expression, and whereas the modulus will return the remainder of the expression. Next one is the assignment operator. Assignment operator is nothing but which assign the value of the right hand variable. which assigns the value of the right hand variable to the left hand side variable. So that is the main work of the assignment operator. So here you see a plus is equal to b, which means a is equal to a plus b. So first it solves this expression, it calculates the expression and assign the value of the result to the left hand side. So that is the various assignment operators. A plus is equal to b and a minus is equal to b, a into is equal to b, a divide is equal to b and a modulus is equal to b. So next one is the comparison operator. So comparison operator is nothing but comparing two variables or two values or two operands. So the first one is equal to. It checks whether the values of both left hand side and right hand side are equal. So what is this triple equal to? It also checks whether the values are equal, but in addition it also checks whether the data types also is equal. So say for example the value A is 10 and value B is also 10. So it will check whether the values are correct. It is correct. Then this is also integer data type and this is also integer data type, that is the whole number which we have seen in the last class about regarding the data types. So both the data types also are equal. So the result will be true. So that is the main purpose of this. It is called as identical. It is called as identical operator. It is called as identical operator. So this one is also a not equal to and this also a not equal to. Both are not equal to symbols. And this one is the not identical. Not identical. We have to check the values will be same, but in case we have to check the data type also. So we can, in case the variation in the data type, we can use this not identical data type. So it replies whether in case, example AB, here A has 10, it is 10.5. So this is integer, this is float. So it is true, it will return true because the data type doesn't match. In case if you have like this, it will say it is false because both are identical. Both are identical, so the result will be false. The last one, next one is the greater than or equal to, less than and less than or equal to. Next one is the increment and decrement operator. This we have already studied in the class 11. So even though I will repeat, this operator plus plus x, that is variable. First it does the. Next one is the increment and decrement operator. So first one is the plus plus x. First it do the addition. First it do the addition part and saves it to the x variable and then return the value. Whereas here first it will return the result of x, that is the initial value of the x, and then it will do the addition and save to the x. So here the value of x will be, first both are same. Say for example value of x is 1. The output will be before increment and after increment will be 1. Will be 2. After both before and after increment will be 2. Whereas here before increment the value of x will be 1 and after increment the value of x will be 2. So that is the major difference. Same in the decrement also. And the logical operator A and B. Say for example, if both the values are true, the result will be true. Here A or B, if any one of them is true, the result will be true. Either A or B. Not A means opposite of A. If A is true, the result will be false. If A is false, the result will be true. A XOR B. What is this XOR B? It will return, it is similar to A or B. If either one is true, it will return true, but not both. In case if both are true means, in this case it will, if both are true means it will return true, whereas in this case if both are true means it will return false. That is the major difference between the OR and the XOR. That is exclusive OR. And the last one is the string operator. String operator is nothing but concatenation. First one is the concatenation operation based on the strings, based on the variables which have the value as a strings. Concatenation operator and the concatenation assignment operator. Say for example, if I have the value is A for, say for example, alpha, and in value B I will have metric. So it will combine these two values and will give the result. Here the same will happen, but the resultant will be stored in the A. So the value of A, alpha, will be replaced by the resultant of the right hand side expression. So with this the chapter 4 gets completed. So in the next video we will start with the chapter 5. Thank you.